Ladies and gentlemen, we are back with another episode of the Press Talk Sports live on the road here at Antioch Football Camp. I am joined by head coach Brett Dudley. Thank you, as always, for allowing us to be here. How you doing?
I'm good. Just busy summer, getting ready for the season. We start school tomorrow, so excited for a new school year and a new season.
Can we talk about the new field real quick? Because, I mean, that's like a huge highlight of the year this year. I mean, there's a lot of new stuff which we'll go over, but the field, the brand new field, you guys get the field redone. You talk about, you said it to me earlier, this is like the best stadium in Contra Costa County. Just talk about the new field.
Yes, our district, we had a huge bond measure get passed about a year ago. Our district has pumped a bunch of money into all of our facilities across the school district, but especially here at Antioch for athletics. So we've got a brand new gym that's opening this basketball season, a brand new tennis court that just got opened up today, and I think the crown jewel is going to be this stadium. It's state-of-the-art. It's this new special kind of turf. I don't think anybody else in the area has it. It's only the second one in the county. So I think that this is the nicest, fanciest, best quality turf that you can play on anywhere in Contra Costa County.
What makes this turf so different? I mean, you kind of explain to those, because you explained to me a little bit.
Yeah, so it's different from standard field turf. There isn't the usual rubber or the tan pellets. That's another kind. So it's this foam layer that goes down. It's this other turf on top of it. It's all blades of turf. So it feels and plays just like natural grass when you're in cleats. It actually feels a little bit like a memory foam mattress. If you walk on it in shoes, it's like 1,000 times softer than normal turf, and it's way cooler for our athletes as well because it doesn't have that rubber infill to absorb all the heat.
The new turf kind of comes at a very good time for you guys. I mean, think about, this team last year was a very young team. I think it was, in a way, it was kind of like the start of a rebuild in some way, right? Very young team, a very big team, and a very young team. Now you guys are even bigger with a year of experience under that. Just talk about, it feels like in ways like, I talk a lot of teams about the window opening up, right? Yeah. This feels like the window opening up for you guys now with a new field on top of that. I mean, just talk about going into this season with everything going in.
Yeah, like you said, we had, I think, almost every person from last year's team returning. I mean, we had a handful of seniors that we're going to miss, and they were some awesome all-league players. But we returned 85% or so of the people from the roster. Those kids are a year better. They've bought in. They've worked hard. Weight room, classroom. Like I said, it's been a little bad not having this, brand new field to practice on, which we get to open up with on Monday. But yeah, I can't ask the kids for anything more. They've been here, they've been dedicated. Last year we kind of, and at times I felt like I use it as an excuse and a crutch too, of like, oh, we're so young. We had more sophomore starters than senior starters, last season. But finally it gets to the point now where it's like, all right, we're not young anymore. A lot of juniors, so they're grade-wise young, but they've got that first year of varsity in. So to me, I think kids make the biggest jump their second year playing varsity football. The game slows down. They're not thinking about what to do. They can just go play ball.
What was the big takeaway for you guys from last year? I mean, you had said the youth was, in a way, a crush, so to say. But 5-5 last season, clinch a playoff spot, lose against Brentwood. What was the big takeaway from last year going into this season?
I think I looked in the mirror. I think I did a lot of things wrong, and I'm always going to own it and admit when I make a mistake. And I think I handled some situations wrong with our personnel. I think I could have done a lot of things better, so I've made some changes as we've gone through this program. Really tried to increase the discipline that we have as a team and the attendance and the buy-in with everybody involved. I think it starts in the classroom, as a teacher, and like our team GPA is drastically higher now than it was a year ago at this time. We've gotten rid of some kids, but the other kids have bought in and improved. So, yeah, I just feel good about where we're at right now.
I asked Deshaun this, and I'm kind of curious in your answer. This team was big, and I said this before, this team was big a year ago. This team's bigger this year. What's in the water in Antioch?
I'm lucky. Like I said, I got some wonderful kids. We have big guys, but they've done a good job of, last year, I was always joking, we had kids that were tall and heavy, but they weren't necessarily big. I think we have a number of our big kids have changed their body type. They've gotten leaner. They've improved in the weight room. Again, they've changed their bodies to look like Division I football players, not just tall, heavy kids.
One of the big kids, Deshaun Streeter, a junior, who's already has 4 offers. I mean, more to come really from junior C, especially going to the next 2 years. Talk about his development, because he was kind of a guy that maybe on the bubble, not sure what he was going to do, and then really got locked in, right? Yeah. Really locked himself in. You kind of see the growth of it. Talk about just his development through this offseason so far.
I'm super proud of him. Known him for a long time. He's matured a ton in the last year. He was always this huge kid, super athletic, but he's improved so much. He's embraced playing offensive line. He's always played D-line, but he's really embraced offensive line this year. He's gotten a ton of great work with his 5-on-5 team he played on in the offseason. That really helped focus him when we've taken him to camps, when we've done one-on-one drills against other schools. Like, I don't think he's lost a rep this whole summer. He's just been so dialed in on getting better, and because he's so immensely talented, like I've told every recruit that's seen him, like, he could be an NFL guard if he continues on the path he's on and does the right things. So he just has to keep doing those things. But yeah, he's really bought in. Sometimes kids, when they get their first offer, I've seen kids kind of go one way where it's like they get a little arrogant. They think they're the man. They've got it made. And I've seen kids go the other way where it's like, no, I have to be the best player at all times. So that's been my big thing with him. It's like we've coached some really good players here in the past. We've had some D1 guys. We have 2 guys currently in the NFL right now. Like, Deshaun, if you're going to be the best player on this team, you have to be the best player every single snap, and he's done that this summer. He's really embraced that role of, I got to be the best player on the field.
From your point of view, having guys in the league right now, right, especially a guy like Najee Harris, like the big name, how much does that motivate the kids at this level, especially the ones, who are like either on the bubble getting scholarships or just start getting their offers?
Yeah. It's a little different than it was, I would say, pre-COVID. Pre-COVID, like, those players went to high school with Najee or Isaiah Dunn or a great player like a Ryan Payne, a Kobe Beltram, a Kyle Jarvis, whoever it might be. We've had these great players. Post-COVID, it's disconnected. They didn't go to high school with them. They didn't overlap with them, but they've seen them on TV and everything. But it does give them that tangible, real-life example. I've had the same classroom for 15 years. So, like, we talked about it the other day when I was talking to the kids about goals and what they want to do with their life and where they're going to be and what they want to do after football. And I sat there and I showed them, like, these are the same desks that have been here for the 15 years I've worked here. Like, Najee, Isaiah Dunn, these guys, we have a DeJuan Butler, our running back coach and track coach. His son's he's at Sac State right now still playing. And I showed them, like, they ate lunch in these desks that you're sitting in right now every single day for 4 years. They watched film right here in this classroom. They worked out in that weight room that's right outside my room. Like, they've shown you the blueprint. This is what you can do, and you guys can make it out of here. And like I said, we've had a couple players that have embraced that. We got the 2 big guys with their offers. I think they're going to blow up and get more, and I think we got a couple other underclassmen and a couple seniors that are going to surprise some people. And
do you feel as if in a way it's kind of one of those things where, like, one guy gets offered, another kid gets offered, it kind of starts spreading a little bit? I'm not saying everyone gets like the major D1 offers, but one guy gets the big ones, another one maybe gets like mid D1, another guy gets a few big D. It kind of, do you feel as that when the kids, they see their success, it kind of, now it kind of becomes contagious, like, okay, this guy's getting his, I can, if he can do it, I can do it too, and they kind of push one. Does that make sense? Yeah,
no, I think you get the kids pushing each other. Again, having Deshaun and George at the same time, they're a little bit different players, a little bit different body types and just temperaments and personalities, but it's having both of them together, works. You always got somebody that's right there behind you to push you, and then it helps their teammates out too. Like, I was explaining to some of the other guys, like, and it's like, now that you guys have your offers, you owe a responsibility to everybody else on the team. You have to make it. You got to be locked in the classroom. You got to keep your grades up. You got to do the right things. You got to sign, so that way these, I think we had 32 colleges come here in May to go check out our prospects. Like, it's going to keep those 32 colleges plus more keep coming here next year and the year after that and then the year after that, because they know they can find, Division I football players here in Antioch.
When you talked about this earlier, what were their GPAs again? You remember?
George is a 3.7 and Deshaun was a 3.1 this semester.
I think one thing a lot of people don't realize with the program, you guys haven't had a lot of grade issues that I know of. Not a ton.
I tried to hammer it from day one, and we held kids out of spring ball that were ineligible, and we had a couple kids that had to go to summer school to make their grades up to be able to play, and the rule for them the entire summer, they are scout team only. They're not allowed to get any quote-unquote starting reps on offense or defense. If it's an offensive day, they play defensive scout. If it's a defensive day, they play offensive scout. Told them, as soon as you finish your summer school classes and pass it, and you show me your grade, that's when you get a chance to earn playing time. And we had a few kids that were able to do that and turn it around. But for the most part, we went into summer with almost the entire team eligible. We give out scholar athlete stickers for every player. And we had, I think, 18 scholar athletes on the varsity roster. And
this from a year ago.
No, this like right now.
Oh, this year, okay.
Yeah, so second semester. Yeah, we checked second semester grades for fall eligibility, and so we gave out, I think it was 18 varsity kids got a scholar athlete sticker on the back of their helmet, and it was at least 10 of the JV kids. So,
talk about creating that sense of culture. I know a lot of teams talk about our culture is going to be this, and a lot of it's focused on field. y'all culture is really kind of find that balance. I mean, a couple of years ago, when I visited you guys, had the Money Mondays.
Mm-hmm.
Talk about creating that sense of culture where it is the focus on the field, but it is just as much focus off of it when you talk about grades, financial future, stuff like that. Talk about just how you've been able to kind of like manage and kind of build that to a point where the kids, like, they do kind of buy in on both sides of it.
Yeah, so we really try to make it where there's like a phrase you hear sometimes at coaching clinics is like this, like transactional coaches. And I don't ever want to be a transactional coach where it's like you have to do this and then you get this to play only. Like every team in the state is lifting weights and they're running and they're all running similar plays on offense and defense. Everybody, those are basic things of playing football. All right, but I think what really separates us is caring about the kids as people and making sure they have a plan for after they're done playing, whether they go to college or not, what they're going to do with their life. We do a ton of talking, like you said, with Money Mondays about their career, making sure they're eligible, making sure they graduate high school. So really trying to coach the entire person, not just, hey, I'm gonna yell at you a bunch, you're gonna try to win a couple games for 4 years, and then I'm never gonna talk to you again. Like today, out of blue, I got hit up by a couple great players that we had years ago that they were working out together, and they sent me a picture of them working out together and said, hey, what's up, coach? Like, those guys graduated in 2016.
Right.
And they just wanted to say, hi, what's up, coach? How's it going? Like, still, checking in with those guys. So, yeah, try to coach the whole player, not just, get a few wins out of a kid.
You talk about getting building these kids for the future in general. You got a couple of years before these kids kind of graduate. Talk about what's it been like for you just having a team that's been this young. I know last year was like the youngest they've been. We're kind of like in year 2 of that, so to say. But what's it been like having a young team like this?
You take your lumps. It reminds me a lot of the team we had, not just freshman year and sophomore year. We were young. We knew we had some talent. We knew things would get better. And then that junior year, things kind of clicked. It reminds me a lot of that. The league's a little bit different than it was back then. I'd say high school football is a little different than it was back then. But, it's really just trying to get the kids to understand, like, to be patient. Last year I knew we probably weren't going to go 10-0, but we got to keep getting better, get all the young guys some playing time, keep developing them, really hammer it in the off season. And now it's kind of like, all right, like we've arrived. We talked about it all off season, where last year was, oh, we're young. That's like the excuse we have built in. We don't get to say we're young anymore. We don't get to have the excuse anymore. You got to go 10-0.
What are the expectations? I know you said you got to go 10-0. What are the expectations when you have a team last year that was so young? You clinched a playoff spot. I know you went 5-5, clinched a playoff spot. A lot of good things. Consistency was kind of, we had a win streak here, losing streak, and then kind of ended decent note. What is the expectation going to this season? I know you said, is it really that 10-0 season?
Yeah, I think this team has enough size and talent to have that 10-0 season. I think our league as a whole is a phenomenal league. I think every team got better from last year, including us. So we got our work cut out for it. It's not like I'm saying, oh, we're going to go 10-0. Right. I'm saying we have the chance to go 10-0. Like I talked to the team when we finished practice today, and I told them, today on August 5th, this is not a 10-0 football team today.
Right.
But if we bust our butts and we're locked in and we keep getting better, we have the ability to go 1-0 in 24 days when we have that first game at home. Keep getting better, you have the ability to go 2-0. Then you have the ability to go 3-0, and just trying to take it step by step. I think when you look at the whole season and you start planning out things too far in advance, you lose sight of people. And I think that was one of the mistakes that we made last year. There was a couple of things where we felt like we had a game, and whether it was myself or the team, we kind of overlooked something, or maybe we had bad quality practices and I overlooked it. So I didn't want to make that mistake again.
You mentioned your team kind of building up and everything. I have to ask you, I know we talked about Deshaun and George, but I have to ask you, quarterback Jelani Carter coming back for a second season. I know he played half the season last year due to injury. Talk about his growth from year 1 to year 2, because he was a very raw talent last year coming in, and then now a year experience, mostly the off season, considering he had like 5-6 games, something like that last year.
Yeah. So last year,
what's his growth been like?
He's had growth. And growth. So yeah, he hit a little growth spurt. So he's probably grown 2 inches from last season. Last year, honestly, we kind of threw him to the wolves. He realistically probably wasn't necessarily ready to go straight into starting on varsity as a sophomore, but that was the situation we were in. So he's improved a ton from there. His body's all healed up from a little bit of the injury that he had. He did finish out the year on varsity. He's still competing with another quarterback that we have who played in the playoff game. named Josh, who's a different type of player, but a good quality player. So I think they're both going to get playing time. They'll have some different packages for both. We'll see how the overall competition shapes out over the rest of this kind of summer camp as we lead up to the first game. But again, Jelani's been. He's improved immensely. Getting a quarterback coach and offense coordinator back in to work with him full time has been really helpful with just his mechanics and basic things and going through reads and his footwork and all that. I would say, again, kids get better. They have the biggest jump that second year on varsity. So now he's so much more confident out here on the field than he was a year ago at this time. So I would say that the growth in his confidence is going to be the biggest thing for him.
I want to ask, getting Juan Corrales back as your quarterback coach, how big has that been?
Yeah, I try to make the staff better every time. Juan has coached with us years ago, left, coached again a couple years ago with us, went to City Junior College last year, came back as soon as that season ended. And it's great having him back here. He helps me out a ton on campus, takes a ton off my plate. I'm a better head coach when I have him running the offense, my defense coordinator running the defense. I can manage the game, timeouts, time, special teams, depth chart, all that stuff. So yeah, it's definitely huge having him around.
You mentioned 24 days till kickoff. How excited are you to kind of? I always say I think every camp I go to, like whenever camp starts, I'm like, life makes sense again.
Yeah.
Right. Camp's going is about to kick off. 3 weeks, essentially, about 3 weeks.
Yeah.
How excited are you to kind of get the season going?
I'm excited. Like I said, we start school tomorrow, talking with the kids. It's kind of and I get it as a kid, even most of the staff, it's kind of like, oh, we start school tomorrow. And I tell them every year, it's like, I know you feel like, oh, I got to go to school tomorrow, but the games always happen once school starts. So if you never go back to school, you never get to have a football game. And, I'm just excited for the kids. Like I said, they've been going hard, weight room year round. Obviously we started spring ball in May. We've pretty much practiced 4 days a week from May, nonstop, all the way through now, 7-on-7s, 5-on-5s, couple tournaments, all this stuff. So now it's like, you see what you finally worked for. It's right here. Goal number one is we got to keep everybody safe and healthy, so they're playing the first game, but we got to get better so we go, 1-0.
I want to ask, while we're on topic of that, you guys are pretty much home. You guys, in a way, you guys have home field advantage for the season. You have 6 home games, including scrimmage.
Yes. We have a home scrimmage, but we have six home games this year.
Talk about that advantage, because your only travel in non-league is Monte Vista.
Monte Vista, yeah.
And that's Danville, which is like 40-minute drive, roughly.
Yeah.
Talk about just not having to travel so far, pretty much maybe until playoffs, right? If it comes to that point. How advantageous is that for you guys this season to be able to stay relatively at home?
It's just nice. As the AD and the person that has to do budget stuff, it's always nice to get the extra home game to help supplement the athletic account and all that. But it is nice. I wanted to be able to. We had a unique opportunity where we had the chance to get a 6th home game. That's normally not. Normally ADs are scheduling 5 and 5, and it flip flops every year. But we had a unique chance to get a 6th home game for this 1-year stint. Again, I'll never say no to a home game, and figured with this new stadium and they're just about done painting the track, with the new gym, everything else is brand new around campus. It was a good year to have that extra home game in.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it, man.
Brett Dudley, head coach, Antioch Panthers. Thank you as always, man. Appreciate you.